Hi. So, welcome to our last video before our first meeting together. I'm so excited about this. I've been working on this for a long time, so I'm really excited to meet together. And so, in this video, we will talk about our group practice, which we will be doing together. And I wanted to talk a little bit about group practice because it's actually something that's kind of new to me and will probably be new to you. And it's different than a solo. Up until now, we've been talking about your own individual, kind of private, uh, daily spiritual practice. And a group practice is different. For one, it's not just going to be us sitting silently, practicing centering prayer in the same room. Okay? There is power in that. That's a good thing to do, but that's not what we will be doing together. We will be talking, we will be engaging with each other, but it will be different than just having conversation. It will be a practice. And so I wanted to introduce that today, and that this is a practice that has kind of just unfolded for me naturally. It's something I've been developing, but it's kind of like it's developing itself. It's creating itself through me somehow. I don't really feel responsible for it. It's just happening. But it's called the IFS love practice. And I'll tell you the story of kind of how it came to be. And so I've been practicing IFS with my own parts for many years, both with a therapist and on my own. And in doing this, my intention going into my own practice has always been with a desire to help my parts. And that this is good. This is something I'm grateful for. But there's something about this intention we're going to talk more about. So that when a part of me would get activated, maybe with anxiety or fear or anger or depression, that another part would come in and say, well, I don't like this activation. Let's do IFS so we can hurt this. Let's do IFS so we can help this part who's hurting or scared. And this has been great. I've been so grateful for this in my life. But there's something subtle here that I want you to notice about the intention of this practice that I had done for many years, which is to use IFS to help my parts. So a few months ago, I was working with a mentor of mine, a friend and mentor named Sid Friedman, who has been really helping me to deepen from the old way I used to practice IFS, we call classic IFS, to now this deeper way, which I now call contemplative IFS. And I was talking with him, my friend Sid, about one of my parts, a part of me who gets really anxious and nervous sometimes. And he asked me this question, which was very helpful and very transformative for me, which was, what if this part, with all of its fear, all of its pain that it's still holding, is beautiful exactly the way it is? And what if nothing needs to change about this part? That maybe we could love this part, even with its woundedness, its fear, all that it's carrying. And other parts of me are like, I don't want to do that. I don't like its woundedness. I don't like its fear. I don't like the discomfort that this nervous part brings to my body and to my mind. But over time, this question that he asked me started to sink in. And over time, my practice started to change. So that the intention when I would be with my parts started to shift to, what if I could just love my parts exactly as they are? and all with all their pain and discomfort, knowing that all my parts are trying their best to help me. Even if they're not actually helping me, they are trying their best to help. And that no part chooses to take on the fear and the pain that they have. And that this shift has been one of the primary shifts for me into contemplative IFS. Because in the old way that I used to practice, that many people still practice IFS, which is great and wonderful, but there is an intention of let's do IFS to help our parts. And in this shift to I just want to love them exactly as they are, there has been this shift of looking at my parts and being able to say, you are beautiful. Thank you for trying so hard to help me. You don't need to change. And this seems paradoxical. It seems like it doesn't make sense because other parts really want our parts to change. But it has made an incredible difference and has actually freed up space for my parts to change on their own even more. And I want to just say one thing about this. When we're talking about love in this class, we're not just talking about this emotion of affection, okay? Which is good. This is good emotion. But we're talking about a deeper state of really what we talk about, this abiding love, which is a place of okayness, a place of not needing things to change. And so this looks like different flavors when we bring this to parts. It can look like acknowledgement, just saying, I see you. It can look like appreciation. Oh, thank you so much for what you do for me. It could look like respect, or affection, or warmth, or celebration of our parts. Lots of different things. But the foundation is, I don't need you or want you to change. And so let me demonstrate this. I'll try not to bonk my microphone with my parts here. So let's say I have this part who, I used to call this my anxious part, but really it's just a part who gets nervous sometimes because he wants to do a good job, okay? So he's nervous, I like better. And so I'll start with this part who gets nervous sometimes, and I just first ask myself, do I want you to change? And I notice, yeah, I do actually want you to change. And what that tells me is, oh, there's another part here. Okay, great. We get to know another part. And this part does want this one to change. Okay, it says, I don't like the feelings that you bring. I don't like nervousness. I don't like how that feels in my body. So what that tells us is we actually want to focus on this part for now. And we'll shift our focus to this one because I'm actually blended with this one. Right? My awareness is inside this part. And so I'll ask, do I want this part to change? And I can look at this part and I'll actually notice, no, I don't want this one to change. I actually really like this part because it's trying really hard to help me. It just wants me to feel better. And now notice what just happened, right? I was blended with this part. I was in the part. I don't like the nervousness. And now the part didn't go anywhere. Now I am with the part. I have come home to appreciation, to love. And I can now say, thank you for trying to help me. And I can listen and ask, what is it that you want for me? What are you trying to do for me? And this part might say, for so long, for years and years and years, I have been trying to help with these difficult feelings that keep coming up. I've been trying to manage them. I've been trying to use IFS to help them. I've done everything that I can to try to help you with these difficult feelings so that you don't get overwhelmed. And I can say, wow, thank you for that. That's amazing. What an incredible job that you are doing for me. And I know that this part doesn't do it perfectly. That's not the point. The point is the intention that this part has, which is trying to help, wanting what's best for me. Because it says, I really just want peace and calm for you. That's all I really want. And I can say thank you. And so we notice that this process in and of itself has brought me home to love. And then I can shift from appreciation, which is beautiful, to now just resting in this love. That this love is three-dimensional. It's not just in the diamond, it's all pervading. And it is filled with okayness, with presence, with a sense of being, of I am. And it's possible to just rest here in this. And just notice the peace. Notice the presence. Notice the okayness. And so this is the IFS love practice. And you might be confused at this point, and you might, I don't really quite get it, I'm not quite sure what to do. That's fine, okay? I just gave you the short version. We're going to practice it together, so you don't need to exactly know how it works, okay? You'll get the hang of it. And so in our group, what we'll do is we'll do just that, and we'll take turns, one person at a time. What part do you have for us today? And then noticing other parts and bringing love to those parts. And really the intention is just to bring love to at least one part of you. And then we'll take turns and we'll shift to someone else. And so this is the first aspect of the group practice. Okay? And there's one more important aspect that will come after, which I kind of hinted at in that resting. Okay? It's more of a resting in the love. But that'll come in a later video. Okay, so that's it for today's video. If you're confused, no problem. I'll guide you through it. You cannot do it wrong. Okay? And we'll see you at the first meeting. All right. Thanks.